It is the Stanley Cup Finals. You have to be excited if you're any kind of real hockey fan, even if your team is not in the Stanley Cup Finals, as is mine. That's too bad, but you know what? I really like watching that trophy getting awarded. It's really exciting to me, and it should be exciting for you, because this year we have the Kings, the City of Angels, the City of Movie Stars, versus the State of New Jersey, the New Jersey Devils, the City of Smokestacks, Gangsters, and Turnpike Exits. So they'll get together, clash, and hopefully put on what I hope is a really entertaining Stanley Cup Final. That being said, the first game was a bit of a snore. A lot of offsides, a lot of icing, probably had a lot to do with nerves. I normally say when I see the first game of a series, I can get a pretty good idea with the outcome. I've been right with most of my post-first game predictions. This one, I don't have any more idea than I did before game one. Neither team was playing to their potential. Even when the Kings scored their first goal, it didn't look very exciting. It almost looked like it happened by accident. I certainly don't know what's going to happen. What I'm going to go over in this episode is what the Kings and the Devils need to do to get their hands on that Stanley Cup. Now, my team's not in it, like I've said, but I am kind of rooting for an exciting series. That's what I'm going for. So here is my prediction and Dead on Dave's prediction. Now, you're probably going to be mad at me. You're probably biased. I am taking the Kings in 5. I think once they get rolling, the Devils won't be able to stop them. But considering this first game was a little shaky for both teams, now would be the time for the Devils to take advantage. Dead on Dave has the Kings sweeping. He thinks that quick and the forechecking and just the sheer ferocity and youth of this Kings team will be way too much for the Devils to handle, and they will get run over. History is kind of on Dave's side on this one, because we usually have great playoffs leading up to the Stanley Cup Final, and sometimes Stanley Cup's a bit of a bust because of nerves, because of what's on the line, and the fact is 20 games deep, they're pretty beat up by then. But we will see. Good luck to both teams. Okay, I have 3.5 keys to victory for the Devils to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's right, 3.5. My first one is more coaching related. Has to do with Peter DeMore. What is Peter DeMore going to tell his players and how to deal with the LA Kings forecheck? This is not the New York Rangers. They do not let you take the offense to them and block shots. The Kings do a lot of forechecking, pressing for those who are basketball fans. They press deep in the Devil zone and try to make turnovers to create garbage goals. The Devils have to figure out a way to deal with this. This is one of the keys to success in the Western Conference run for the Los Angeles Kings. The second point is the power play. The Devils need to convert on the power play. One of the reasons is the Kings don't have a very good power play. So any opportunity to get a power play, the Devils have to score. This leads to my half point. The guys who really, really have to be the stars on the ice, it's not Martin Brodeur. He's been solid, and I don't see him changing. It's Kovalchuk and it's Parise. How many times have you seen Parise get a huge breakaway and he hasn't converted on it with that great speed of his? Kovalchuk missing the net here and there from time to time. When they're on the power play, this cannot happen. Both these players have to score goals in order for the Devils to get their hands on that trophy. So power play and Parise and Kovalchuk have to be key players. The next one is the most hardest one to solve, and I don't have an answer for it, and we're going to find out if the Devils do. Jonathan Quick must be solved. He has a 1.54 goals against average going into game one. Unless the Devils plan to win all their games 2-1, the LA Kings will move on. This must be solved. It's the most difficult one to solve. This is a very young, hot goaltender that to me looks destined. But if the Devils can break through on the power play and solve the forecheck, like I said above, there is absolutely no reason they can't win the Stanley Cup. The Kings looked a little soft in game one, as did the Devils. Now's the time to take advantage in game two. Okay, here are my 3 keys of victory for the Los Angeles Kings. The first being keep up the hard forechecking. That was the recipe for success inside the Western Conference. Teams had trouble dealing with the speed of the Los Angeles Kings. The Devils aren't used to the kind of forechecking that you're delivering. They're used to playing Eastern Conference teams that are defensive-minded like the Rangers. So keep it up. Who knows? They may not know how to deal with it, but only do it until it stops working. The second one, stay away from the penalty box. The Devils have a superior power play to what you have. So you have to stay disciplined, and you have to stay out of the penalty box. And you have to do that with keeping up the hard hitting that you've been doing, like guys like Dustin Brown and Kopitar, hitting hard, creating turnovers. The third, probably the most important one, is Jonathan Quick must be protected. You cannot allow the Devils to bump him, agitate him, or get under his skin. That means the defense has to be really, really tough. Jonathan Quick is very simply your greatest weapon, and probably will be the reason if you're able to get your hands on the Stanley Cup. 1.54 goals against average. There isn't a coach in the world that wouldn't want that going into the Stanley Cup final. I have big hopes and dreams for the Kings. I hope things work out. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today's vlog. I want to talk to you about a few things. First, the podcast. We're running a podcast, me and Dead on Dave. We put the link below, so check it out. It's below. Yeah, Ray William Johnson. Below. Okay. Another thing is, I've kind of branched off into sketch comedy. If you check out right here, I'll actually put it right here. If you check out right here, you can check in with a new character I created, Demetrius Snyder, and he dropped some knowledge, even though he didn't go to college. So please check that out. It's pretty funny. And you can check out my branch into like sketch comedy, which maybe I'll get time to. So please check out the links below. Also, JohnFreemanMusic.com. John Freeman has provided all the music for this particular episode, and we really, really appreciate it. And I have to give him props, so please don't hit me hard for advertising. Also going to play an extended version of this song that he wrote, our outro. Like I said, all the music is done. The hip-hop beat you're hearing now, and the opening was done by John Freeman, and this part